welcome back to the channel. So glad that you found my backup to Anna's Thoughts and Musical Parodies here at Anna Speaks Out. Thanks for being here.
From the National Review, pro-life activist arrested after SWAT team raids home with guns drawn in front of screaming children. This is the story of pro-life activist Mark Hoke. And the article reads, a well-known pro-life author and sidewalk counselor was arrested in front of his children after the Department of Justice ordered a SWAT raid on his house for alleged violations of the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act, according to a report from LifeSite News. According to Congress.gov, the act was introduced on March 23, 1993, and signed into law on May 26 of 1994. And through a lot of long, awkward wording, this thing basically says that they really don't want anyone to prevent any women from going in and getting abortions or any providers from providing abortions through the use of either verbal coercion or physical force. And we see that Mark Hoke, who is a father of 7, drove 2 hours to Philadelphia every Wednesday to speak outside of abortion clinics for 6 to 8 hours at a time. And the face violation charge was thrown out, but was somehow picked up by the DOJ. Hoke also described an incident in which her husband shoved a pro-abortion man away from his 12-year-old son after the man entered the son's personal space and refused to stop hurling crude, inappropriate, and disgusting comments at the Hokes. The man did not sustain any injuries, but did try to sue Hoke. So to me, this sounds like the type of way that any typical good father would react to this type of thing happening to their child. And it's also interesting because Hoke was basically sued for reacting to really the exact type of behavior that this FACE Act says that people like him are not allowed to exhibit towards patrons of the clinic, but a patron of the clinic exhibited it towards him, and now he's getting in trouble for defending his son. If this isn't obvious, blatant bias against somebody who goes against the agenda, I don't know what is. Continuing on Friday morning, Hoke's rural home was raided by 25 to 30 armed FBI agents, who pounded on the door and yelled at the family to open it, his wife said. What an insane reaction to him pushing a guy away from his son. Mark Hoke pleaded with the FBI agents before opening the door, telling them, please, I'm going to open the door, but please, my children are in the home. I have 7 babies in the house. The agents continued to yell, and when the door was opened, they pointed their guns at the Hokes while instructing the children to go upstairs. According to Mrs. Hoke, the kids were all just screaming. It was all just very scary and traumatic. I can definitely imagine that it was. The FBI agents proceeded to put Hoke into a vehicle, and when his wife asked if they had a warrant, she said that they replied that they were going to take him whether they had a warrant or not. This sounds like something that would happen in North Korea or China, but it happened right here in the US. After she accused them of kidnapping her husband, they presented her with the first page of the warrant, she said, which showed that he was charged with violations of the FACE Act due to an alleged attack of a patient escort. So there you have it, the terrible news of the latest attack that I know of on a conservative person exercising their First Amendment rights and God-given convictions on an issue going against the mainstream narrative. This man and his family will definitely be in my prayers, and my condolences go out to them all. But here is some good news, and we're going to tie it all together in the end to leave us off with some hope and hopefully positive inspiration.
The family-friendly drag show at the Memphis Museum of Science and History was canceled moments before it started tonight at the Pink Palace Museum. What happened, Joyce?
When the Proud Boys showed up, the drag show was over.
With this type of abomination, then you're in trouble with God.
The Memphis Proud drag show and dance party.
Whoa, this is the stuff of nightmares. This would probably give me bad dreams.
The family-friendly drag show.
Canceled moments before it started.
People were just more knowledgeable and more accepting. I do.
Particularly disappointed.
Susan Gray and her husband expressed their disapproval.
Child abuse. I don't care who does it. It's wrong.
Why are you telling people to leave when no one asked you to tell people to leave?
Well, there's an entire exhibit.
I would just like to point out that this guy is giving an exceedingly accurate representation of his kind, dressed like a literal clown.
In there, that's about the history of police removing queer people from spaces, a country of a culture that does not want us to exist. And so tonight proves that we are still living as a part of that history.
Well, yeah, and we can only hope that there will never come a time in history when nobody is standing up to children being exposed to purposefully by their parents and encouraged by higher ups in their schools or the city or whatever, to be exposed to these people dressed up in nightmarish costumes and literal clown suits gyrating in front of children and taking tips from them, etc., etc. But the positive and hopeful thing is that protesting works. As another example, I attended a Let Them Breathe rally in the summer of 2021, which you can see the whole live footage of when you become a Patreon supporter. Link on the second page of the website in the description. But through their continued activism, they actually got pro-mask choice victories in the schools of Southern California, so it's truly amazing. I would love to see more of this type of protesting outside of abortion clinics. We can't be afraid to use our First Amendment and Second Amendment rights in a peaceful, nonviolent manner to stand up for the most innocent in our country. And maybe just don't bring your children along to these events though, because I have a feeling that if there hadn't been what probably came across as an easy target for this pro-abortion person, they might not have had the courage to target anybody at all, and there could have been a lot of stress and trauma saved on the family. That's just my thought. Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, and thank you again so much for being here today. Thank you again so much for being here today. Since you liked the video enough to make it all the way to the end, don't forget to click the thumbs up and share with somebody else who would also find it interesting. Leave your comments below and we'll all have a conversation. If you really enjoyed it, check out the description for several different ways that you can support. Have a wonderful night, afternoon, morning, evening, whatever time zone you are in, and I will see you next time. Bye.